My name is David Atkinson, and I am a multimedia artist. This is probably the first time I've called myself a multimedia artist, but I've been practicing in my head for the last few weeks because I realized that all the different things I do, many of them have ended up being used in this project, and it just seemed like the simplest way to get it over with. You know, when people say, what kind of art do you make? And then I say, I'm a multimedia artist. In this particular project, photography, my own photography, sometimes just borrowing other people's photography off the internet, which is, I guess, a special skill on its own. Using Photoshop sometimes to manipulate things, various clays, sculpting materials, anything that I'm able to use, I will use in a project. Actually, just the other day, after watching Graffiti Research Lab show off their equipment a number of times, I decided to cut a stencil, and I guess by default became a graffiti artist of sorts. I'm not sure if we had permission to do that part on the wall, but at least I'm a softcore graffiti artist. James, Nye, and myself created a piece called Obstruction Fence, and the idea is quite simple. There's a wooden wall. I believe some people call it a hoarding. I don't know why. I haven't looked that up yet. And it's across from City Hall, and it's sat there for 10 or 12 years, ever since a building burned down downtown. So there's essentially a vacant lot, a gaping hole across from the shiny City Hall. And we often go by, or used to walk by, and talk about what's behind there, or what might be behind there, or what might be on the wall. And ultimately we drilled some holes in the wall and built some small scenes that people can look through and see, you know, into our imaginations, into their own imaginations a little better. Some of them are maybe sort of proposals for the space, like the skate park is an obvious hint to the people of the city to build a skate park, since it seems that skating will not go away. James did one with a campfire, people standing around a campfire, these tiny clay figures, and behind you can see the actual lot, and that one maybe, I don't know if people actually like campfires back there. That might get them shut down pretty quick, but certainly people do gather to drink bottles of wine back there from time to time. So that was sort of a bit of a blend of fantasy and the reality of what's behind there. It seems like it's opening people up, looking through the holes and thinking about things that they usually just walk by. I went down to the fence last week, and there was some school children there, and their teacher asked me to explain a little about why we did what we did, and standing talking to children who I just watched looking through the holes, having the time of their life, I couldn't really think of any complicated reasons why. And I think that's the spirit that mostly we made these boxes in, which is it's just fun to look through the hole into some little world. I think mostly when people are looking through the fence, they'll see something like, oh look, the dog, it's chasing the people around, the giant dog or whatever, but I think the excitement comes from them thinking up that the dog is chasing the people around. They see an image that shows them that, but I think the excitement comes from, you know, whether they voice it or not, they're carrying the story on in their own head. I might have tried to imagine what people would see or think, or where they might be led when they looked through at a particular scene, but it never occurred to me how much fun it is just to watch people walk up to a wall and go up to a bunch of little tiny holes drilled in it and start peering through the wall. And and that alone, when I look at that, I just forget that our scenes are behind there because it's so interesting. Suddenly there's this huge scene. It's like I've built this huge living box, and that box includes a piece of King Street and some cars going by and some little animated figures. So suddenly I'm peeping from across the street. I took my camera down a couple times too and just sat and took pictures of people looking.